Hi, my name is Cameron Singleton, and I'm here with Pat LaDuff, the president of CADAV, Community Against Drug and Violence. Would you like to introduce yourself now?
Good afternoon. I am Pat McAllister LaDuff with Community Against Drug and Violence, incorporated in 1993, October of 93. This year we'll be celebrating our 25th anniversary.
All right. First question. Why do you think it is important to develop a community garden?
I think it's important to develop a community garden because it brings about beautification. In the instance of our community, we have a lot of overgrown lots. And so it gives us green space. It provides fresh food and fruits for our children and our youth and residents of the community. So I think it serves a purpose.
What was your motivation to develop a community garden?
That was also my motivation. So we had a lot of houses in our community that were abandoned. And once we got the houses torn down, then we had the problem of a lot of overgrown lots. So it motivated me to try to find something to do with those overgrown lots because we could not maintain the grass cutting. So in that, we did pocket parks, and then we did the above ground garden boxes and started our community garden.
How long does it take to plan and develop a community garden?
Anywhere from 90 to 120 days. If you want a sustained garden, you need to identify your location, and once you do that, then you want to recruit a team, have them trained, and then after that, you want to assess the costs, identify the funds. So you identify donations, and then you want to identify who's going to give you the money, and then you want to scout out some residents that are actually going to be involved in the project for the long haul, so that once the garden is planted, you'll have some assistance with getting the harvest and actually, helping to educate the children. Once you get that commitment, then you want to pick up your supplies, and then you want to do a build date, and then you want to actually plant. So that process in preparation is about anywhere between 90 and 120 days.
How do you get the resources to actually build the garden?
From the community partners, and also resources and donations from the community. So once you're in your recruiting process, you get the buy-in, and then those residents are actually going to, donate their tools. They may buy seeds. They're going to help you actually get the ground prepared, and then they're going to actually help you build the boxes and then plant. So a lot of things are donated. But then once you get all that you're going to get, then you need to reach out to some of your businesses, local businesses within that community, to get them to support what you're doing. Your fresh food initiative is what we call it now.
How is the food distributed from the garden?
It's free for all. So there's no discretions. When you pass by over on Garchaw Street or Curtis or wherever we have our gardens, it's growing, and you can just stop and get you some broccoli, cabbage, collard greens, mustard greens. We find when you put fence up and try to keep people out, they tend to vandalize it more. When you just grow it, then and say that okra and stuff that people can actually use, green onions, and they can just get it and use it, we find that we have less vandalism.
So who maintains it?
It's maintained by the community, the community, as well as the organization that partner with us. Some of our partners are Southern University Ag Center. We also partner with the service learners at Southern University, Baton Rouge Community College, Baton Rouge Green, Keep Baton Rouge Beautiful. We also have a partnership with some of the local schools through the East Baton Rouge Parish school system. So it's maintained by everyone.
How does building the garden make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel wonderful because just the fact that we grew the garden, and then you get to reap from your labor. It's really awesome. And so when you're sitting down eating and you know that you actually did the work to get the gardens, then it makes you feel pretty good. Yeah, and then the beautification, there was an overgrown lot. So when I'm passing that lot, it looks really good, it looks better than an overgrown lot to have a garden there.
So building a garden will help like with park beautification and
That's right, beautification, it helps with the greenery, with the quality of air. It helps with the fresh food initiative. We don't have like a market here where you can actually go and buy fresh fruits. So it also helps with education, Children need to know how, why, when, and where when you're eating corn, when you're eating okra, you're eating your broccoli. It's a process, and it's just not a process that you take for granted. Where you say, oh, well, he's just a farmer. But it's an art to that. You have to know when to plant, when to tittle. You have to know when it's time to reap when you have planted. And it's a skill, and it's knowledge that the students can gain in how we go about it. And then you can take it on to college and go right on and major in agriculture, because that's exactly what it is.
how do you organize the garden?
Well, you organize for a garden. You actually organize the garden, in a sense. The steps that I gave you actually organize the garden, the process for the garden. If you're gonna organize a garden, the only organizing that you could do would be where you're gonna situate maybe your boxes. And so then I would say away from the street, in a corner, not in direct sun, if that's the question that you're asking me.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
And last but not least, do you have any plans to build a community garden?
Well, we've built several community gardens already. We have identified some other places that we can do a garden, but we have no plans of doing a brand new garden anytime soon. We do plan to do some expansion to the current garden. So we do all above ground garden boxes. So some have 5, some have 10. So some we've added to that, and we may do 12. The ones that had 5, we may do 7. So, but we want to, expansion. With expansion comes expansion to volunteers, committed volunteers. So unless you have the committed volunteers and residents of that area to go along with the expansion, then you would end up with a big mess. Yeah.
Well, thank you
You're welcome.
for the interview, and that should be it.
Okay, well, thank you.